Hey, Sebastian, it's me, Speedpaints. Coming to this video, I am doing My Hero Academia Characters OCs yet again. And like I was saying, I am doing characters from different anime. I pull two characters from Black Butler. I pull Seal Phantom Hive and Sebastian Michaels. Light from Death Note. Satu Kazuma from Konosuba, and for the record, I also take some creative freedom, giving them some abilities that they shouldn't have. You would most likely immediately know, and once you hear the lore and stories about behind them. And I literally take Saitama in from literally One Punch Man. So without further ado, let's get into this video and roll intro, and let's go. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Okay, the first one I'm looking at is actually a duo that is actually sharing a very similar power. They come from London, but they are able to speak Japanese because they came to Japan in order to go to UA. The first one, for the record, first one is from nobility in London, but it is very weird. He owns a factory, but he still counts as a noble because of his family heritage. Name, Seal Phantom Hive. Hero name, Contractor. Quirk, Demon Contract. His quirk allows him to actually make a deal with an actual demon, or make a contract with someone that has a quirk like demon-like quirk. Someone like Tokiyami, but instead he made a quirk with someone named Sebastian. I'll get onto him in a few minutes. He has a few minor abilities that happen after he awakens after he makes a contract with someone else. He is from the Phantom Hive family, which are very, very popular and very well known in London. He is very powerful. But he only has a fraction of the powers of his butler, aka Sebastian. But anyways, more about him. His hero's costume is very similar to someone like Monoma. His costume is basically a very fancy butler suit, but his doesn't really have that little butt coke thing coming off the end. And it's actually blue. It's actually made of Kevlar for him. The reason why he's known as Contractor is because he is very talented with making contracts in general, because it's family business, but also because he made a contract with someone else before, and that person was Sebastian. But let me finish what I'm saying. After he makes a contract with a demon, someone with a demon-like quirk, he can gain a few abilities like minor regeneration, which is still very powerful. If he could lop off his own arm, it will heal within a few days, a few hours, depending on how severe it goes. But the downside of it, he has a contract on his eye. The more noticeable it is, the more powerful it is. Now let's get to the Sebastian guy. Name, Sebastian Michaels, I forget. Hero name, Demon Butler. Quirk, Demon. He has horns and a tail. He met Sebastian after saving him from some cultists that were using Sebastian in order to summon a demon, or gain more power so they can take over the world or whatever. They believed in the Quirk Doomsday theories, and they were trying to use Sebastian as proof of that. But it did not work out at all. Instead, they alerted Sebastian here to the presence of him. Sebastian was around 19, and he was around and Seal was around 13 when this happened. I've had so many interviews with them. I got their quirk information, all that, but I dug up some files on them from the UA place. That place is a very hard pain in the arse. I'm surprised La Brava got in there. But Sebastian's hero costume is pretty much similar to Monama's, except shorter upper sleeve. And he has a contract, aka a pentagram on his hand. He can summon fire just like CL, but it's a whole lot more powerful. It's blue, whereas CL's is red. His eyes are red as well. He has 2 small horns and a tail, like already mentioned. But his durability is through the roof. You can pelt this guy with a rocket launcher and 5 AK-47s, full magazines on them too. He would just bump right out. He's also known as to be an ex-vigilante and they mostly go after villains that have a kill order on them. He knows he only goes after truly evil people, just like CL. CL doesn't really show a lot of emotions, but he smirks a lot when he's happy. And for Sebastian, he's literally used knives. I'm talking about butter knives, forks, and some plates he found in a kitchen of a place where CL was taken when they were going on the first mission for their internship of work study. Yeah, he took out every single villain there. For every single one had a kill order with knives, forks, and plates. Butter knives. This guy's freaky. I'm scared of this guy. Now that's all for these. Let's get to the next one. From the duo freaky group to someone who towers over both of them. Sebastian is around 6 foot, whereas this guy's around 6'2". Name: Light Yagami. Vigilante name: Shikigami. Quirk: Death Note. Yes, you heard me right. I also go over vigilantes. He shares a similar origin to Lady Nagata in the fact that he's an ex-hero. He has a quirk that allows him to, just like the name suggests, sign a name in a notebook and if he wants to, their time and date of their death. And trust me, it's pretty scary how bad it is. Unlucky no one knows my real name, or else he would have written it as soon as he found out. Because he's known to take out people that could damage his own life. He also has a minor ability to float around for a short time, and his vigilante costume is very similar to a Shikigami, which is his vigilante name. He's also the number 5 vigilante in the world, and about number 3 in Japan. There are worse vigilantes. He's actually a really nice guy once you get to know him. The guy's got a girlfriend too. She knows about it and she doesn't really care, but she's actually a hero herself, but she has a very similar quirk, just a lesser one. Now, he can also has another ability. He can control someone controls someone's daily routine to a certain extent. I'll get on to the side effect in a second. What he can do is blank will go to blank for a blank amount of time. It is very freaky. I've had him do it to me as an experiment to see how far he could go. Yes, I also help people with work control, but also I was curious about how well he had a good control over it and what he could do exactly. He wrote down, I gave him my nickname, which can hold a certain amount of power over someone, not as much as their real name. He has to know the real name to actually write it down to kill them. But he wrote down Infomaniac goes to McDonald's for 5 minutes, takes a dump in the middle of the room, and runs out after 5 minutes, and comes right back here. I did exactly that. Closest McDonald's like 5 minutes away from here. So yeah. So yeah, his powers are a little freaky. And his costume is pretty close to President Mike's on the count that it's nearly all leather. In summer, that guy's crazy. Let's get to the next one. Now, this next guy is a really, really weird one. Name, Satu Kazuma. Hero name, Thief. Quirk, Steal. By saying steal, he could steal something from anyone that he's looking at. Albeit it is a very, very weird power because it has a few side effects. One is that it actually sometimes makes him very lucky, and sometimes it accidentally steals someone's underwear, mostly girls. So yeah, he's known to be a pervert, but he's not really a pervert at all, and his hero costume looks very similar to someone from an isekai anime, but with a whole lot more holsters. He's literally got a strap going across his chest for anything that is useful. Now, if someone's quirk is something like a host quirk, he could use steal on it and use it temporarily, or if he learns how to control it really, really well, he could actually modify it and keep the quirk, but he has to ground it to a weapon. Like his sword, it's actually infused with part of Tokiyami's quirk of Dark Shadow, but this one can only sprout arms out from the main boss from the shadow and on the sword. But get this, it can also envelop him and make him a little bit stronger and gives him a little armor on his arm at times. He also has a dagger imbued with some other abilities, like parts of Izuku's enhancement quirk, One for All. Yes, I know about that, but I'm not telling jack squat to anyone about it. He also has a gauntlet, which is actually on one of his hands at all times, with the power imbued from Katsuki Bakugo's explosion quirk. So yeah, he's overall really powerful. They don't really feel the effects of losing any of their quirks, but feeling they lost a power of their quirk. Matter of fact, it's more or less a perfect copy quirk, but those are very, very rare circumstances. He has to be very, very, very lucky that day, but immediately afterwards, he will automatically, the next thing he tries to steal, will always be someone's underwear, most likely a girl's. And he is known to be very apologetic about it, but he has a certain someone that it always accidentally comes from, and she isn't really bothered. Her quirk is water manipulation, and her hero name is Aqua, and she is a weirdo. Now, this last one is a very, very, very weird one. His name is Saitama. That's all I got. Hero name that was given by most people and the Hero Association as well, Caped Baldy. Now, that's the most known one. He also has another hero name that barely anyone calls him, just known among comrades. I'm talking people that are friends with him. I'm talking like a #1 ranked hero somewhere else named Genos, that his disciple. Like, Genos has a quirk called Cyborg, for the record. Basically, any body part he loses is regrown in a metal, and it is very robotic, and it is robotic too. The guy's lost every single body part except for his brain. Now he's just a walking cyborg. But Saitama's other hero name is literally known as OPM, aka One Punch Man. Now, Saitama is a very, very weird case. I've looked over and I've looked at his body myself. I've looked at his own motherfucking x-rays. I've looked at his x-rays I've taken myself. He should be quirkless. He has 2 joints in his pinky toe, but get this, he has a quirk. I asked him if he could have been given a quirk like One for All, and yeah, most people, very powerful people with quirks do know about One for All from All Might, because he thinks that someone with a quirk should have it in order for it to actually go more powerful. But he lost that ideology when he met Zuko Midoriya. He's always been a nice guy, even to quirkless people. That All Might, that is. But it turns out it was a dormant quirk. And this one was very, very weak. But it had a very weird ability. Quirk Limit Breaker. Like the name suggests, it allows him to break his human limits. But here's the weird part. You have to do training to unlock it. You hear me? Mother frickin' training. This guy, for 3 years, and for the record, these 3 years took place during middle school. After his first year, he was bullied so much he chose, like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to become a hero that can take down villains in one punch. He literally did that for 3 years. He ran 10 kilometers, did 100 squats, 100 sit-ups. No, wait, it was a 10-kilometer run. 100 squats, 100 sit-ups, and 100 push-ups every single day. A banana in the morning, and that's all he ate for the morning. No heating in the winter, and no cooling in the summer to build up his mental resistance. And the guy, literally, on the last day, felt his quirk awaken, and then that's pretty much it. He felt a whole lot more powerful. Like, it pretty much, it usually just triples his power. But due to so much overworking of his own mental body, both physically and mentally, he broke his quirk and forcefully evolved it to the point it's still known as Limit Breaker. But it causes him to literally break his limits every single mother frickin' time. Every single time he fights a villain, he feels his quirk powering up, but the side effect is he's always looking for a very, very powerful opponent so he can fight and finally get the thrill of a fight back. During those few years, he always wore a mask to protect his real identity and went around fighting villains. Every single one he defeated in one punch. But once he got into UA, everyone still called him quirkless except for Zuko, because he knew what it was like to be quirkless. And a few other people from Class 1A. And by those few people, I mean, literally, one people called him a loser was actually Monoma. He got his balls punched in hard. Izuku talked to him. He said, my quirk is a weird one. He told him about One for All, and All Might also told him to back it up. He wasn't really surprised. He was like, okay. He met Genos when he became a hero literally after 1 year, because of how powerful he was. The guy's 19, and he's a very, very strong fighter. He told them about his quirk known as Limit Breaker that awakened after he trained for 3 years. He told them this training, and they were like, what the frick? And they were like, that's simple training too. But Recovery Girl did her own quirk testing, and she said he should be quirkless, but he does have a quirk known as Limit Breaker. It's a mutant type one too. It turns out that powering up feeling was actually him just breaking his limits more and more and more throughout the years. He's gotten to the point that literally barely anything can hurt him. His durability, strength, speed, and all that is through the roof. All Might scare the guy. So, yeah, I know not to fight him at all. So, see ya, that's all I got for today. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video, because that's all the time I got for today. Until next time, subscribe to Adrian's Strike Starmer or Team Alliance. Goodbye, and peace out, everyone.